How you doing?
Good, and you?
Hanging in there. As long as we're not getting snow down, we're in good shape.
That's cool.
Okay.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hi.
All right. We got Chris. And
No, let me call to a roll call
All right.
and then others. Okay, Ken LaRosa,
here.
Chris Martin,
Here,
Pat Rinaldi,
he's on a business call.
okay. Others present, Frank from IT, Ray Marks, Pressbrook Parks Foreman, Jan Vivestat, Pressbrook Park Golf Pro, Jack Donahue, Park and Rec Commissioner, Bill Dunstan, Park and Rec Chairman, Lisa Carew, Park and Rec Director. So Pat's gonna be coming in late, Chris?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
All right. And we'll call the meeting to order at 6:02. I know we want to go backwards. Start with public comments, public participation. Let's see, John.
Is there anybody?
Well, I hear none, so we'll move on to approval of minutes from January. I make a motion to accept the minutes from January 7th, 2021.
second,
Any additions, subtractions, deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They passed, okay. Correspondence. I currently do not have any correspondence as relates to the golf course. So we'll move on to that. Okay, reports, golf course subcommittee chairman, that would be me. I'd like to welcome Ray to the meeting. It's great to see him here. You know, hopefully we'll see more of him. Recently, within the last half an hour, Lisa had sent out probably a very long email of some stuff that Ray had given to her about different various items that pertain to golf. So if you have a chance to read them, please look them over. We have season tickets. We've actually sold to date 24 24 season tickets, which for a month in is pretty good. We're happy with that. A lot of the people have taken advantage of our early bird special, which shows it works. We may consider doing something again over in February, just to maybe spur a little bit more before our season really starts to wind up and we get busy, hopefully. There's really not much else going on. I mean, Ray's gonna have some stuff to say in his report, which would be great, Lisa. And we'll talk about the tournament rates later on. So with that, we'll move on to Park and Rec Director's report on Pressbrook. That's you, Lisa.
Yeah, no, just what you received tonight, you received late tonight, the amount of season tickets, Kenny talked about it, that have been sold to date, and like what he was saying, EB next to it says, where it says half past, EB means early bird, so they bought it at last year's price. Obviously it worked, we got people in the door, I mean, it's $16,707.50 worth of revenue that we would have probably had for another couple months until the course opens. So it's really important. And really, I don't have too much to report because we're still closed down here, and the only way you come in is if you call in. So that's all.
Okay, then we'll move on. Thank you, Lisa. Move on to the golf superintendent's report.
Okay, how you guys doing tonight? For you guys that don't know me, I'm Ray Marks. I'm the licensed superintendent up at Pressbrook Park. I threw together a quick report for everybody just to get a little idea of the infrastructure and where we're heading,
You might want to take your mask.
kind of where we've been. It might be a little better. I'll quickly go through this. If anybody has any questions, like I said, I typed this up pretty much for myself. You guys can review it. If you have any questions, just stop me. I'll try to explain it a little bit better. This year at Pressbrook, I think we had an excellent year. We had many new faces coming up. We got a lot of compliments, a lot of positive reviews. It seems like from the feedback I was getting on the course that everybody's enjoying the course. They're They're liking the value, and especially the conditions. I think we came a long way in a short time. Some of the key projects are still going to be addressed to keep the improving the play, the pace of play, and their overall health of the course. I don't know if most of you have played the course before. You've seen that the course was in pretty rough shape at times. Over the last 3 years, we really put a lot of focus on the greens. We sodded the greens. We got the pH levels on the greens back to where they should be. Moving forward, the greens are still going to be the priority. This spring, we're going to be starting to put some more focus onto the tees. We're doing pretty well with the tees. They took a beating the last few years with all the rainy weather we had. We had a terrible wet season. Hopefully this year we'll have a fairly dry spring so we can get out there and address them. We're gonna start off. Let's see, where are we here? We're gonna aerify them in the spring. We're gonna hollow tine them, and then we're gonna chop the plugs and overseed. And then we're gonna start with the par 3s and then move to the rest of the tees. The par 3s seem to be in a little bit dire straits right now. They need the most attention. For top dressing, we'll probably, hopefully, top dress them next year, as this year our budget was a little light, to say the least, between our top dressing sand and our bunker sand. But next year, hopefully, we'll be able to hollow tine them again, chop the plugs, overseed, drag them, and then get a nice top dressing on them, level them out. Our first fungicide application is, for, if you guys don't know, will be in the beginning of April. And then our herbicide applications are usually right about mid-April, depending on the weather. Let's see, we're gonna do our greens aerification will be done in May, weather permitting, usually the mid to the end of May. And then we also obtained, for people who don't know, we obtained the new Hunter pilot irrigation controllers that are working out excellent. We received a lightning strike a few years ago. We got a $40,000 brand new state-of-the-art irrigation controllers. There was about a $40,000 value that cost us about $5,000 for the deductible, yep. which was perfect, thanks to Mother Nature. There was a learning curve. Like I said, it was the latest and the greatest version out there. There was a learning curve between us and also Hunter Golf to get it, everything implemented and running good. Going into this year, we should have all the updates and the programs. Everything should run flawless. Let's see, some of the projects I wanted to bring you guys aware of. The pump house, we have an older pump house. It's like an old Model T. You got to fire up every spring. It's built well. Some of the valves and everything are pretty antiquated, but we're making do. We have one pump that's leaking. We have to address right away. It's an older Peerless pump, and hopefully we'll be addressing that, which I'm hoping probably next month, so we can get it all in place before the start of the year. The next big project is a spillway that we have to take care of. The staff at Pressbrook over the years, I've been at Pressbrook probably 13 years now. I've been with the town going into my 21st year. Years prior, we used to be able to keep up with the spillway, with the beaver debris and everything washing over. We'd go down, we'd clean it out a couple times a week. Then we went into a hurricane season where we had a lot of debris wash over. The big problem is that we have our main irrigation line from the pond that runs right through the center of the spillway, through the dam, goes down to our pump house. So if anything happened to that, it's very important that we can get to it. So that's one of the big projects we need to address right away. And then from there, like I said, we're gonna start aerifying the tees this year, and then we have to start clearing the tees. With the greens, we had a lot of problems with overcrowding of trees, not getting the early morning sunlight, not enough airflow through them. We're seeing the same problems with our tees. Just years. Granted, the last 10 years hasn't been easy for golf, So a lot of the budgets have been cut back. A lot of things haven't been addressed. Now, it's time. We really have to focus on this one. And there's severe overcrowding of trees, a lot of root damage, roots growing in. They're not getting the morning sun, not getting a good airflow through them. I put a list here. I won't go through all of them, but if you guys can read through them real quick if you have any questions. Some of the stuff has already been previously quoted through the good old boys tree service. And we're just waiting on the money so we can put that forward. One thing I know with you guys that play the course, we're having a big problem with the 4th green 5th tee cart path going up the hill. The left side of it's washed out. We repaired that numerous times, and the main problem comes from the trees behind the 4th green up on the hill. Until those trees come down, there's really nothing we can do besides try to keep up with it, but it's pretty much coming to a hazard now for the golfers. So this is another issue that we really got to address. And the first thing we got to do is we got to remove all those trees. We would have to sub that out, I believe, to like the good old boys again or another tree service. It's a little bit more than we can handle, especially going into spring pretty soon, where most of our time is going to be spent on the course. Let's see here. The overall health of the course is improved, and that's still our top priority going forward. Staffing is still the largest obstacle we got to overcome. We used to have 5 full-time guys, now we're down to 2. Let's see here. Yeah, like you said, we got a director, superintendent, foreman, equipment operator 2, equipment operator 1, and a mechanic. Now we have Lisa as the director. I'm filling the shoes as superintendent / foreman, and then we also have a mechanic. That's it. And then we have our part-time staff. And within our part-time staff, they're aging. A lot of guys have been there for a long time. They're retired. They're actually looking to reduce their hours. So I think we have to start budgeting some money to acquire some younger help, but give them an incentive of increased wages to retain them for skilled help. I just ran down what it takes, for every day to run the course with the employees. With the increase of play, I put this on here, we need a stronger presence of starters and rangers on the course. This past year, we're pretty thin on rangers out there, especially in the afternoons and early evenings. And with the huge influx of play we received, golf etiquette really isn't there with all the new players. Yeah. Everybody's turning to the outdoors now. Yeah, everybody seems to be turning to the outdoors to keep their sanity, doing a lot of outdoor sports, which is excellent for us. On the downside of it, we're receiving a lot of damage, a lot of divots in the greens, which, that takes man hours to repair. I showed here for our current budget, they cut our top dress and sand down to 500. I kind of outlaid here exactly what we go through at a minimum for top dressing for the greens, and then also for the bunker sand. We get our bunker sand through Dunning Sand and Gravel out of Farmington. Right now, our bunker sand budget is $500. They will deliver a 23 ton. That's the maximum they can deliver. Comes out to like $915, and for each delivery, we can maintain about 2 to 3 bunkers, and that's not rebuilding them, but that's adding sand to them, which is making a huge improvement. But as a time last year, we weren't able to do any. This year, it doesn't look that way either, Lisa, right? Unless we can steal from Peter to pay Paul.
We'll see what we can just
Yeah.
get creative, right?
But then right here, I give a rundown. We got 31 bunkers on the course. As we are, most of the bunkers are in pretty good shape. We do have some problem bunkers. Especially the fairway bunker on 6. That one's so contaminated with topsoil, and it's just, the drainage is collapsed for it, which I'm considering turning that one into a grass bunker this spring. Yeah, we're just dig it out. We'll make a nice grass bunker on it, just like we did on 17 years ago. That was another real problem one. But for the most part, there's probably 4 other bunkers that really need attention, which I think, once we can start getting a little more manpower, a little more money back in the budget for bunker sand, we can really dress them up quite a bit. That's about it. I mean, I wrote down here, over the years, we've actually cut back on our fairways. We've shortened them up a little bit and narrowed them out to save on the spraying costs, maintenance, the mowing, spraying. And in the meantime, getting the greens healthier, we actually gained another half acre worth of greens. So we're right about 3.5 acres of greens right now, which is pretty good, for our golf course. And the health of them is doing really well. Over the year, I put the heights, you'll see, 170, 165, 165, 156. This was over the last 3 years, from when the greens were in total dire straits to when we got them, the soil healthy enough to sod them again. We got the sod in there, and then every year we've been dropping the heights, increasing the ball speed. So we're on our way, and then I put down here the Hunter pilot system again for, a $40,000 system we obtained for $5,000, which is excellent. Going forward, our sprayer, in the future, I mean, that's a lifeline of the golf course, just like the pump house is. The replacement cost on our sprayer is about $55,000 to $60,000. So I believe that is something we're going to have to look into. One we have it is fine now, but I think down the road, this is something we should try to budget for. Like I said, it is just important to the golf course as the irrigation system and the pump house. Without either one of those, you're not going to have a golf course. But other than that, I don't know if anybody has any questions for me, or I'm going to try to attend a little more of these meetings,
Good.
through the course.
Either you guys got anything for him?
Pat Rinaldi.
Oh, Pat is here.
Pat, yeah, I got that earlier.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you, Ray.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great seeing you.
Thank you.
Golf pro report?
Hello there. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I guess, February season kind of on the horizon here for us, really just, just looking at just long-term planning. I think Ray touched on a number of the things that, would need to be addressed, over the course of the next few years. We did, I think in my 4 years here, the progress that we made, I think, was substantial. Particularly with the green surfaces, that was obviously always our priority, to improve the condition of the greens, to be able to, be able to increase the speed and so forth. And I think that we've done a reasonably good job there, just continuing to work in that direction, keep improving the conditions. It is the one area where a golfer they just won't forgive you if you don't have good green surfaces. So, with that being said, I think, there hasn't been, due to budgetary constraints, there hasn't been much, work done other than that in the 4 years up there at the golf course. So, I think that we just need to kind of sit down and try to make a long-term plan, like Ray said, and be able to, maybe it's just, maybe it's one bunker a year, 2 bunkers, whatever it is, whatever we can afford to do. It's something that, needs to be, completed, planned and done and completed. So I think the bunkers is certainly an area that causes us some issues. It can be, the players, if we get a heavy downpour, I mean, it can be upward of 3, 4, 5, days before we have conditions back in those bunkers. They flood out, they don't drain well. So that I think that would be one area that I think would be real important to just do some long-term planning. Obviously the teeing areas, top dressing, we haven't done much of that in the 4 years that I've been here. So I think it's well overdue to be able to try to improve the condition of the teeing areas, be able to, do some leveling. Obviously, with some of the drainage issues that are out there on some of the tees, it's certainly having an impact on just the quality of the surface. I know we're a public golf course, but I just moving forward, I think if we do have a good plan in place, I mean, we can make these incremental improvements over the course of the next few years, and I think it'll really pay off. I was asked by Jack Donahue to kind of research some of the cost structure for improvements to the bunkers and the tee areas. And I did speak with some people that were experts in the field in construction. One such person, superintendent at Clinton Country Club, I spoke with, and he gave me some insight as they just completed a multi-million-dollar renovation of their golf course. And it is a substantial cost when you're looking at improving something, as simple, what you think is just kind of a sandbox. There's a host of different construction techniques. The most common one in this area is cement base. So you pour cement into the bottom, you do all the drainage work with the use of that base, and then obviously you put the sanding on top of that. So it becomes a pretty expensive proposition when you're looking at 10 to 16,000 generally, depending on the square footage per bunker. So it's a sizable amount of money. It's something that does have a huge impact on just your ability to keep the golf course playable, and that was one of the things that I thought, at some point, you can only, go so long on, like a Band-Aid isn't going to fix the cut. So at some point, you have to really look at trying to figure out how we can fix them for the long term instead of just trying to just patch them up here and there. So that was something that I thought was important to just mention, and hopefully we can put that in our long-term planning to find the monies that will be required to do those improvements. All in all, I think the golf course, I think it's definitely proven to be better. I mean, the business levels certainly show us that this year. I mean, if we had 2 golf courses, we probably would have sold out 2 golf courses. So obviously it was a great year for golf. I think this year looks very promising as well. I don't think you're going to see any significant slowdown. So, I mean, the pricing, I've had a host of conversations with a number of professionals, and they are adjusting pricing. So it's definitely, something that we would look at.
Pricing
What else?
for, just a
Does
question.
anybody have any questions for me in terms of just operational questions? Anything there? I know that, the carts obviously were a great plus this year, having the new carts, having the 4 additional carts and so forth. I almost wish, it's unfortunate, would have been nice if we had the space to have 8, because we would have sold them out. I mean, the business levels were real strong. So, I'm pleased with the way with the progress that we've made over the past 4 years. I think we've turned the corner. I think we really, made some significant improvements that are really setting us up for the future. And that was really always my goal, is, to put the golf course in a position when I'm no longer around or I'm not here, that it's gonna, it's gonna be good. It's gonna improve. It's gonna keep going. So that's really always been my goal. And, I hope to continue with that, to keep going and keep making it a little bit better every day. And, you know, assuming that, you know, we, like I said, we continue with good planning and, you know, just execution. I mean, those are the things that are really going to pay off, you know, for the town and for the golfers. You know, for the golfers, this is a signature amenity for the town, and it's really important, I think, to have this. I mean, people come to our town for our great school system, for, you know, for the parks that we have in our town. I mean, people move here for that reason. So, you know, being able to really just be able to continue to improve upon, you know, what we're doing, that's really, that's really the ultimate goal. So any questions?
Good, guys. Any questions for Jan?
Can you guys hear me? It's Pat.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I might have been on mute before, but when you were mentioning, I think you said other pros are looking to increase rates, I think you said?
Yes.
Was that, so those were for 18 holes, they're looking to go up in different areas of the state, or what are you referring to?
I think there's definitely a push this year, and you're going to see some increases. It's just has to do with supply and demand. I mean, the rounds are tougher to get. Tee times are more difficult to get.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah, I just
gonna
was
be-
curious. That's fine. I was just curious if that's what you were referring to. The
and
rounds.
increases. I've also seen that there's going to be some increases with the situation involving the carts as well. And the reason is just simply that there isn't an unlimited supply of carts in the golf, you know, facility. So we have 44 carts. Some places will have as many as 80 carts. But with the regulations that we've gone through over the past year with the single rider carts and you know, there's a host of things that are going to be important to
love to.
just be able to, you know, make sure that we're competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I have seen that our rates in terms of single rider carts is a little bit on the low side. I've seen, you know, people going, you know, as high as $30 now for a single rider cart. And you have to realize why. If we put that single rider cart out on the golf course, right, because they're not allowed to ride with their buddy,
Right.
that's out there for 4.5 hours. It's not coming in. So you can only capture the revenue. Now, what we do currently is $16 for a shared cart or $20 for a lone rider cart, a single rider cart. So there's a $4 increase there. So I'm not saying that we have to adjust it dramatically, but I think it, you know, looking at everything that we've talked about and some of the things that I've noticed and seen is it's not really in line with you know, some of the other facilities. Now, I mean, Waterbury courses, I don't know if they're going to change there. This is more of just the trend, the general trend for the state, basically, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that might be something to consider. Maybe an incremental increase there. You know, if that's not already done there. When I looked at the rates, it didn't look like it was changed.
No, we didn't change the rates because we went up with the new cards last year. We actually went up last year. So we held off on raising them this year.
Right.
I think last year, though, we didn't know that there was going to be the influences that we've
Correct.
been experiencing. So that would be one thing that I would think. I mean, I don't think you have to do it. I mean, but I mean,
think
from a business standpoint, it is a little bit low. I wanted everyone to recognize that.
Yeah, but we'd be charging $20 per person if they go out because they can't go out together with a buddy, right?
Correct.
Okay. And if they were going out with their buddy, they'd only be paying $16 per person.
$16 each.
Right.
So
So
it'd be $32 for the cart.
I know, but aren't we making $4 per person because we're forcing them, not we're forcing them, but state mandate says if they want a cart, they got to go out separate. So we have to charge them $4 extra.
That's no longer a mandate.
Well, no, it's not a mandate, but it could become a mandate.
Well,
We don't know.
Okay, but
right, if it becomes a mandate again, we'll have to readdress it then. But
what
right
I'm
now,
saying
it's
is
not a
That was
mandate.
lifted last year.
That was lifted mid-July, that was lifted.
yeah, I understand. What I'm just, all I'm saying
I don't
is,
see it being mandated again. I'm not gonna roll the dice.
Yeah. I will, over the next few weeks, I will re-review a lot of what other courses have done with rates.
Okay.
I do stay on top of it because when we did set the rates back in November, December, a lot of their rates were based off of 2020. I found that we're usually one of the first courses to react to rate increases or rate pricing, and a lot of courses do follow. So you may see some increases. If I see substantial increases among carts, it's possible maybe we will consider our cart pricing. But right now, I mean, with the area, I'm more concerned what's in like a 10 or 15 mile area for us as far as our pricing goes. I know there's places out there that they do get quite a bit more than we do. But how often do we draw somebody from 35, 40 miles away? I don't think it's enough to really affect our rates right now. We have enough in this area within our immediate 3 or 4 surrounding town area that we do draw consistently from. Probably 90% of our golf comes from Watertown, Waterbury, Middlebury, Woodbury. But if I do see some significant increases out there, we'll discuss it and maybe we'll take a look at it.
yeah, I just want to be clear the reason I was mentioning that was because I didn't think we needed to raise them, because I thought if they were forced to drive singularly, individually per cart, they're getting charged $4 more than they would if they had the opportunity to drive with someone else. So that's what I was getting at.
People request the use of a single rider cart because they have fears of,
Yeah, but then they got to pay
riding with their
$4,
friends that
but they're paying
have a
$4
job. Maybe
more.
they go to they work in the city or something.
Yeah.
So they come out, and then you got to remember that if every time that, let's say, a foursome shows up on a Sunday morning, that foursome, they're an early tea time and they come in and they request individual carts for each of them. So they come out at 7:30 in the morning and they say they want to be single rider carts. We make $80 on the cart fees because each of them pays $20 each.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $80, right? However, when you think about it, we can't put anybody else out on the golf course at 10 o'clock or 10:30 or 10:45 or 11 o'clock because they're not done yet and we're out of carts.
Yeah, but
So
it's a matter of not having
We-
enough carts though, Jan, not what we're charging them for the carts.
Well, no, what I'm saying from a business standpoint is an increase in that amount. Sometimes it plays a role in how they proceed when they're at the counter. If that price were more in line with the cost of a cart for 18 holes, which is a $32 benefit, $32 income, and let's say we charge $28 for a single rider cart, yes, it's more money for that person. The person that's going to pay for the single rider cart doesn't really care because he doesn't want to ride with his friend. He doesn't care about the increase. The person that's more budgets, involved with more of a budget type of, he's going to be more inclined to just pay the $16 and ride with his friend, which really, when you look at the bottom line in terms of just a business decision, it's better for us when they're riding together.
Right.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just telling you what,
Yeah.
these are just what other golf courses do.
Okay.
to increase
Again,
revenue.
I'll look. I mean, I haven't seen anything out there on any other rate pages. I mean, I'll take another look over the next few weeks and we'll see.
Yeah, no problem.
Maybe they may have put some of these courses may have put in a stipend that says, during COVID, a single cart is X amount of dollars. I mean, I'll look, I'll see. Again, I can only look and see what's out there.
Okay.
And then we'll go forward. I mean, I
I'm just
understand what
trying to
John's
find a way to
saying.
maximize our revenue. That's all.
Right, I understand what you're saying. I do.
Yep.
So, Anything else for Jan? All right, then we'll move on. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Sure.
We'll
Yes.
move on, restaurant, there is nobody here. Okay, so old business, there's no old business, because it's still, so under the new business, we have discussion and possible recommendations for tournament golf rates, and policies. We didn't do any policy changes, but, I sent out the other day, kind of a proposal, my usual 3 to 5% proposal increases. And also I added a line, column in for weekend tournaments, with, a bump up in there too, to keep, hopefully some of these people will think twice, and a weekend will consist of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as our rates do, our rates at the course coincide. Friday is considered a weekend day. And I looked at that. I looked at our rates for weekday tournaments, Monday through Thursday, a weekend tournament rate, and also the nonprofit rates. I will propose an increase across the board. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it. I am in favor of the 5% increase for 2021, taking a greens fee from 32 to 34, the cart rental up to $16, will give us a total of $50 for a round, and and then you got to add on the $5 for the pro shop, would give us you a tournament cost per player of $55.
Can I make a motion to, at this point, or no?
No, I want to go over everything, see if we're all
Oh,
agreed.
okay,
We'll
okay.
go in one great bundle.
All right.
For the weekend tournament, which would be a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I'm proposing a $37 greens fee, a $16 cart rental, which will give you a $53 total to play, and then the $5 for the pro shop, which gives you a $58 total price. And then under where did I put it? Oh, on the next page would be the nonprofit, which I did, I was listening underneath all the nonprofit organizations we deal with underneath. Those are the ones that just popped in my mind right away.
You got my addition.
I got a couple emails from people stating that, who our other nonprofits are. And I'll let you know, I'll tell you who those are. Right now, it's the Lions Club, the Knights of Columbus, our police department, the Boy Scouts, Little League, AC, Waves, and Watertown Lacrosse. I removed the Rotary Club from the list because they had left us a few years ago. And should they decide to come back, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I did somewhat of a sizable increase. I did a $5 increase on nonprofit. I took it, my suggestion is on the greens fees, we go up to $14 and $16 on a cart rental. That's a $30 fee right there. Plus the pro shop is $35. That's a $20 savings off a regular tournament rate. That's still a great savings. You get 100 people, you're still saving $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the business to try and make money. We have to figure out some ways to close the gap. And I think that these three, the 5% increase on the regular ones, adding in the weekend tournament rates, and then an increase in the nonprofit rates, I think, will lead us in the right direction. Thoughts, comments?
I like it.
Concerns?
Include holidays in with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just
Oh,
in
okay.
case- Just in case, please.
Yep. And Friday, the weekend tournament will also include holidays. So if the holidays,
We don't want to do that, but in case it happens.
right, if holidays a month, somebody wants Memorial Day, it's part of the holiday. It's part of the holiday.
So there's one thing, we would just want to make sure that if we're going to do the tournaments on the weekends, that it starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon would be the earliest.
Right. I can live with that.
Do we maybe put that right on the application?
Yeah, I'm writing it down now underneath
Okay.
the thing. So anything else? Then I will make a motion to put forward, as I stated, the rates for tournaments for 2021. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Who was that, Pat?
Pat.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Chris?
Chris, thumbs up. Opposed? Then it carries, and so we've set our tournament rates for 2021. Thank you, guys. It's great. I will give it all to you.
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay, that's it. I will make a motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. 6:41.
Meeting to order at 7:03 PM.
Nisha, you want to do roll call?
Roll call, I'll do it verbally, so just answer, okay? Jack Donahue?
Here.
Bill Dunstan,
Here,
Kenny LaRosa,
Here.
Chris Martin,
Here.
Pat Rinaldi. Okay, maybe I don't know the phone. Peg Jermaine?
I am here.
Neil Gravison. Okay. If you see that Pat Rinaldi joined the meeting, just let me know so I can write it in, okay, with that was.
okay,
All right, thank you.
we'll move on.
Yep.
Is there anybody for public participation? No. Anybody for public participation? Is there anybody for public participation? No? So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. No public participation.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from January 7th, 2021.
I have a second on that motion, please?
I'll second it. It's Pat.
Pat Riley, okay. Is there any further discussion, deletions, additions, comments on the minutes of the regular meeting for January 7th, 2021?
This is Peg. There is a deletion or a change that I would like to suggest under new business item C, the Jack Staber Endowment Park and Recreation Subcommittee, where I was appointed chairperson of that. And I did send an email respectfully declining that position just based on the overwhelming nature of my professional status right now in school. So would stay on the committee, just can't function as the chairperson.
All right, first of all, that's not a deletion. Underneath subcommittees, I'm gonna make some moves around and we'll go from there. So it's still, we were at that time appointed. In this meeting, we're gonna change some things around a little bit.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. So are there any other questions, comments, additions or deletions to the minutes of January 7th, 2021? If there is no more conversation, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carried. Correspondence. Correspondence that we got in our email packet, only a few. Get in your email package?
Just all I got was Sam's numbers.
Okay, the first one was from Lisa to Mark Mossad, the land use administrator. And it's about what we talked at the last meeting, the Jericho Road encroachment violation. Okay, we sent a letter to the land use administrator about why it's taking so long. I did see in the newspaper, it did come up at planning and zoning, and to be honest with you, I was a little bit upset when it said he was granted a 5-year time span to correct it. I know in 5 years that several of the people that are involved in this probably won't be involved any longer. And 5 years down the road, with everything being overgrown and stuff, it's sort of like it's gonna be forgotten and out of the way, and it'll never get taken care of. So this letter here, I'm gonna wait to see what we get back from Mark Musad. But I mean, we really need to push it now, based on the town attorney saying that someone granted him a 5-year time frame to clean it up. Right? I don't know why somebody would think 5 years on something this small, especially cleaning it up and taking some dead trees down and repairing it, because it's gonna get so far past, like I said, everybody's gonna forget. So like I said, I was not happy when I saw that in the newspaper about the time frame that this, the resident on Jericho Road was given. So I stay on top of that, and we'll keep the commission on top of it. The next correspondence we got was subcommittees for 2021. This is how they existed. And I go down to the Jack Stable Perpetual Endowment Committee. And what I'm gonna do on that one there is take Ken LaRosa off
Of what?
and move Ken LaRosa up to the facilities with Chris Martin and Pat Rinaldi. Let Peg be a regular member on the subcommittee, and I was gonna chair this subcommittee for the Jack Staver Perpetual Endowment Subcommittee.
Okay, so repeat what you just said.
Okay, I'm removing Ken LaRosa
From the Jack Staver?
from the Jack Staver
Okay,
and inserting him in place of Robert DeSena on the facilities,
okay,
okay?
yep,
I am gonna chair the Jack Staver Perpetual Endowment, and Peg Germain will remain on that subcommittee,
okay.
but not as chairman.
And Jack is still on.
Yep, and Jack will stay on that subcommittee with us.
Okay,
Next one we have is from Sabre. Sabre has resigned her position on the commission with us. The only thing is, we got notification, Lisa got notification and passed it out. I just have to find out if I can forward it to the town clerk. Then the town clerk will forward it to the Democratic Party. Sabre was a Democratic nominee and appointee, and see who they are going to decide to replace it. Sabre did offer to work with us, but in my past, I found that it seems that any input from our commission, within a month, we're told, here's the new commissioner. And I've offered in the past to sit down with people to go over things, and it's never happened. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same. Democrats, this is their appointment. They have somebody in mind, and they'll have them appointed to the board, and the town council will approve it. And we'll get a letter, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have Sabre as replacement. But she did offer to work with the person, getting them up to speed, things like that. And we'll go from there. Now, the last piece we have,
Mr. Chair, just so you know, it was supposed to be on the town council agenda that she resigned.
okay,
So everybody will be, would have been made aware. They canceled that meeting for the other night due to the weather, but it will be on their next, it will probably be on his resignation. It was under new correspondence number 2, resignation Sabra.
okay. So it was on the town agenda for the Monday night that got canceled.
and can I add an addendum to that, because I'm trying to find out right now, because they're having their meeting right now at the same time, the town council,
Okay,
and it's on the agenda, and I think there might be somebody appointed tonight.
okay.
So hopefully.
Is everybody able to hear that?
Yes,
Okay, the town council's having a meeting right now, so that appointee may happen tonight. So depending, you may hear by the end of our meeting, depending on how long their meeting is. Okay. the last sheet that we got in correspondence was just, it had everybody in and it said Saber resigned. And it has our email addresses and our telephone contacts. And this is going to be for the needs assessment for the senior center, community center, which a little bit farther on in the meeting I'll be going over.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman, there's one other thing, the correspondence that was requested at the last meeting. And that is a follow-up about the Cherry Hill demolition / Nautic River Greenway spur
Okay.
down by the state. I don't know why it's not included, but it was sent to the town manager, to planning and zoning, to the town attorney, and it was sent to all the places you guys requested. I don't, it's not in here tonight, but it was done, so.
Okay. Does everybody have that?
Yes.
We talked about the spur off of the Greenway down by the old drive-in theater. That letter also should have been in our correspondence. That a letter was sent to planning and zoning, the town attorney, about our discussion with that, trying to make sure that that spur over to the Greenway was completed as it was proposed in the contract between Watertown and the state of Connecticut and Cherry Hill recyclers. Okay, if we have nothing else for correspondence,
Mr. Chairman, could I
yes,
interject here for 1 minute? I'm looking at the needs assessment list
Yeah.
with names and contact information. And the phone number that's listed for me, Peg Germain, is actually the school phone number. So it's probably not best to list that one as a contact for me. So could I give you my cell phone number?
any number you want, Peg.
Let's do a cell phone number.
Okay,
203
203
206
36
4469.
4469.
Yes.
Everybody has that?
Here's all the information you should have gotten. So if you want to just read it.
Yeah, I was just, the letter was sent to Attorney Justice and everybody else for the Cherry Hill on January 28th, 2021. So everything went out. It was more than a letter, it was a packet. We just handed it. So it did indeed go out and it should have been in our correspondence, and it wasn't. But it was handled from the last meeting. Okay. Park and Recreation Commission Chairman's report. Make it short and sweet tonight. Snowstorm hit, and our guys were out there shoveling and scraping snow and getting all areas that we're responsible for as clean as possible. We've had, we're changing over some of the software and things in the office so that, your assistant, Carrie, mind blank here. Carrie Godfrey have been very busy trying to move everything over from one system to another and trying to handle all the virtual meetings and things like that. The COVID with the state of Connecticut opening up with basketball and indoor programs nationwide, they've cut out the list of high risk, medium risk, low risk. So that affects us, and everything that we're hearing right now that we're going to be involved with, it seems that all spring sports are planning on being right on schedule like they normally would. They starting at the end of April into May and going on, of course, with the modified COVID rules. We're here, most of the things that were in place last year and a few tweaks here and there, which we knew, they always can make things better, and they did. So we're looking for that. We have a meeting on February 13th for the field permits. Okay, it's going to be toned down, only one representative from each group. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 representatives from a group. And obviously, to keep it to a bare minimum, the groups have been instructed that there's only going to be one representative at that meeting. Gary Smith runs the meeting, and they'll get their permits out, and we'll get going with the sports groups. But it's a positive note that everything looks like it's slowly coming around. And as I had said, once the vaccinations start, I hope people don't get complacent and think that's the cure-all. And I think we're going to be wearing masks in certain areas and certain things. Meetings and stuff like that, I can see a lot of virtual meetings continuing, even when you're allowed to have large groups, because it just makes sense. It's also, believe it or not, a lot easier not having to travel and getting a higher attendance rate at meetings, because a lot easier from your homes than having to come down to town hall on a cold night or a wet night for a meeting. I envy you guys. Okay, the Park and Recreation Director's Report.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of skip around a little bit, but tickets sold to date, I think Kenny will probably report this too, but we have sold 24 season tickets to date with our early bird promotion, and we brought in $16,707.50, which is money normally we wouldn't get until probably right around when the course opens. So it was very good promotion. For the parks and the greenways, when I ran out of here just a couple seconds ago, I gave it to the chairman, the letter that was sent also regarding the Nautic River Greenway, to Paul Jessel, to planning and zoning, town manager, and I apologize that you didn't get a copy tonight. I'll make sure you get a copy tomorrow. As far as the recreation division, we'll touch base on it a little bit. Gary Godfrey and Gary Smith, they've been very busy going from our new website, which is live, but it's just not being advertised yet, because they're still taking the tweaks out, but it's myrec.com, and we're getting rid of the rec track that we've had for probably 20 years, and this is going to be much more, once it's up and running, it's going to be night and day from what we've had. Be able to register online and everything that normal places have been doing for a couple of years. They've also been working, it was kind of fun this afternoon in the office, they've been working on some more virtual things, and today was Name That Tune Bingo. It was kind of fun because it was all different songs, so it was pretty fun. I don't know if you can see behind me, but on the whiteboard right here, this is our virtual trivia contest. And they have the cocktails and almost Golden Girls. There's probably 20 or so contestants that have registered to do the online or the virtual trivia contest. And unfortunately, we've had snow the last 2 Tuesdays, so it's scheduled for next Tuesday. But that should be fun. They have it already kind of on the honor system as far as not using Lexus or something there to help you with it, or if it is a song using, what is it, I can't think of it, it's like whatever it is, I can't think of it right now, but it should be fun. It is for fun, just to keep people motivated and keep people, it's been a long year, I'll put it that way. Like I said, I'm kind of swapping around a little bit. So our social services department, we've reached a new milestone as far as donations this year. I mean, it's amazing. The turnout that we have received from the community and individuals and companies in Watertown. It's in schools, everybody, it's incredible. We had a lady last week had a windfall, I don't even remember her name, but she had a windfall happen where she was reimbursed $1,000 that she had loaned to somebody years ago and never expected to receive the money again, and she got that, and she gave us her stimulus check. So I mean, it's just incredible the amount of people that are, supporting the food bank. And on the other note, the attendance for the food bank, since the stimulus check just came out, is going down a little bit because people are not using us, which is like, use us, use the stimulus for other stuff, but don't use it for, I mean, it's pumping money back in the economy, so that's a good thing, but it's, you know, we are there to help the people in the community. Again, like I said, I'm kind of switching around here. So one of the things coming up, there's some events coming up, just so you should be aware of it. We have 2 more COVID testings coming up on Saturdays, January 16th and January 23rd at Watertown High School from 1 to 4. They have not given us any indication yet about when we're going to start the COVID vaccines. But I know that the emergency manager, management commander for the town of Watertown, who is Chief Dave Bromley, has been working with the town manager in the state. Because apparently they want every town to have a site where they're going to be giving out the inoculations. From what I understand, it's probably going to be in this building up in the new assembly hall. No dates yet for any of the vaccines, but we do have, like I said, the COVID testing on January 16th and the 23rd. So they'll bring it up to 4 and 5. They'll bring it us up to 5 COVID testings.
Lisa?
Yeah.
I was just saying that I used that Watertown High School testing on one of the 2 weekend Saturdays, and it moved very fast. There was
Yeah.
double lines. The people that worked there were pleasant, helpful, and anyone that wants to go test, I recommend to go up there. You get in and out immediately.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. The first, I've kind of been shying away from there. I went to the first one and hung out. And then the last 2, I have staff that's up there. They've gotten it kind of down to a science. We have it where it's up at the high school and using the driveways. The first week that they had it, there was considerably more people that did go get tested. In the last 2 testing dates, there wasn't as many people getting tested. So I don't know what that's an indication of. Maybe it was because it was cold. One of the days, the last day, it was like 2 degrees out or something. It was crazy weather. So
Yeah, but I went up and I walked on the track that day, so.
Did you get tested?
No.
No,
I am
okay.
very happy to report that during all of this, I have yet to have to test, and I
Okay.
have already been vaccinated. So,
Okay, that's great. That's super.
yes, it is.
So just so you know, there are 2 more dates coming up and they are free. And all you basically need is an email address. We have, going back to the vaccinations, we have information here because we have been fielding the calls for the senior center. We've been giving them the Watertown Area Health District number because a lot of the seniors don't have email addresses. And they have been in contact with the people as far as getting vaccinated. And I know that the Walgreens, I believe in Watertown, is one of the sites that they're using or something. I know there's a whole bunch of CVS's around there inoculating, but I think that's gonna be ramped up when more vaccines are available. I guess right now there's kind of, I don't know if it's a shortage, but there's, for some reason or another, they're scaled back and holding on for the second vaccine or whatever. So skipping around a little bit again, just so you know, I met yesterday with the town manager about a few things, and one of them was about our senior services. As you know, Catherine Dinsmore, who was our director down at the senior center for over 10 years, retired at the end of December, along with our dispatcher, Phyllis Shar, who had been there with her for many, many years. And I know the manager's researching a couple things as far as the position. It's not been advertised yet, so you might hopefully see these advertised at some point soon. As far as the Parks Department, I just want to pass this along that the town manager, and this also applies to Pressbrook for the maintenance department, that the town manager passed along that he was very, very pleased with the snow removal and making sure that the town facilities were open and the restaurant and everything else, that they were able to be used. Billy touched base a little bit on the spring sports meeting that we have. It's the annual meeting. One thing he didn't say, it will be virtual. We have, one person per team or per group, because we really don't want a mob from one group or another, but it will be, done remotely. I had my second budget review on Tuesday. They moved me up a little bit because I ended up going to New Jersey in the afternoon. But I had the second budget review with the town manager and the finance director. That was the other day. Still, he's called up a few times and asked questions about some of the things that I had put in there, because I have put in for some full-time help. One of them would be for the parks, or for, Pressbrook. And then for our social services, trying to get that full-time. And so he has questions. He's brand new at it. He just started like a month ago. So he's really trying. The last thing I'm going to talk about, at least for right now, is the needs assessment. So the gentleman that owns the company that's doing the needs assessment for our community/senior center, I talked to him today. It was just more or less, it's not a whole group discussion or anything. He just called today. He was gonna send me some stuff just to start some dialogue. I got it late this afternoon, so it's not even ready to even look at it yet, to be honest with you. I'll start looking at it tomorrow, but it's just a needs assessment. So to get an idea of like what I expect, and he was saying about wish lists and stuff, and I have to be very honest. I said that I worked myself and a lot of people that's on this commission worked very, very hard to get that property purchased. And I am very territorial. I was called that by somebody. And that, I want to make sure that what we get is what we're asking for. So, again, it was just a half-hour talk I had with him this morning. He was forwarding information, but we're not there yet to have any kind of meeting. It was more or less just me and him talking, so. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to the subcommittee reports. Kenny, the golf course subcommittee?
All right, first off, for those who don't know, sitting across from me is Ray Marks. He is the man that keeps our golf course running on a daily basis.
Thank you.
I will allow you to ask him questions at the end of my report of anything that isn't within the budget or within the agenda for the night, if you have any other questions for him. But, we're in the middle of winter. We got, 16 inches of snow up there probably? Yeah, it's gonna take a while, but we'll be optimistic. Lisa reported positively, we've got 24 season tickets sold already. I think that's great. We're gonna consider running another quick little special maybe into February before March hits to see if we can drive a little more. The earlier we get money in, the better off we are, because money starts getting tight this time of the year with the whole budget starting to wind down. Jan reported, a few of his goals for the next few years, and that we need to look at a future plan for fixing things and moving forward, which is a good idea. We will at some point have to get together and put some stuff in writing. You will find that earlier this evening, before our first meeting, Lisa sent out an email. It contains the report that Ray gave at the subcommittee meeting earlier. It says what he's been doing and what his priorities are and how the spring is going to unfold as we get to the warmer weather. It also details his priority list moving forward for 2021 with a lot of work on continue on the greens and some tees. I mean, we got equipment that needs to be fixed and stuff. So if we have a minute and want to take a look at it, it's in there. And within that email, you also contain just some information on different things, about the golf, about bunkers, about maintaining bunkers, the speed of how the greens affect your speed of play. Those are all good, interesting things to read, which I will be doing later. There's really not much. I just hope that we move forward. We did discuss, and we do have a recommendation going forward for tournament rates moving for 2021, which you see will come up later on in our new business. We'll discuss it there. I think that's really about it. So with that, yeah.
Ken,
that's
could I
it.
ask a question? It's
Sure.
Jack Donahue.
Yeah.
I sat in on the subcommittee tonight
Yeah.
and I heard a lot of good discussion about what's necessary at Pressbrook. It seemed like revenues were short to get a lot of this fixed, but nevertheless, everyone's interest is trying to move forward and make Pressbrook a better golf course. But I wanted to ask Bill and Lisa, I sent you an email on the 23rd of this month of January with the application to the Revenue Finance Bonding Committee from State Representative Joe Paletta, sent it to me. And it talked about some of the work that we could put in this application
Jack,
to.
that's good. Jack, that's gonna come up under new business.
Under,
It's on the agenda.
Okay,
It's on the
It's
agenda.
on the agenda.
it's on the
Sorry.
agenda under new business B.
Okay, great. I didn't see that.
Okay,
Yeah, it's there.
so before I turn it back over to you, does anybody have a question for Ray? Just want to say hi to him? Meet him, you know?
Hi, Ray.
Be glad he has a mascot. But, all right, Bill, back to you.
Again, Ray's always looking for help. If anybody wants to push a lawnmower at the Pressbrook, just see Ray.
Oh,
He'll give you
sign
plenty
me
of
up.
exercise. Yeah, Ray, like Kenny said, I have to compliment Ray. The compliments we've been getting for the last several years are doing no large part to Ray. Ray on his own went and got a degree in chemical and pesticide applications, which is huge for a golf course, and doing it right. So the compliments we get are all on Ray. Ray has really done, along with his staff and crew, you know, one full-timer and a lot of the part-timers has done a tremendous job in turning the course around. And the compliments we get, obviously, when we were voted the top public golf course in the area in the Water Republican American, that has a lot to do with the maintenance and the guys that are working up there. So we really appreciate everything that our maintenance crew is doing up there. Okay, the facility subcommittee. Chris, have you had a meeting?
No, I have not.
Okay, so, well, now you know now that Kenny LaRosa is replacing Herm DeSena on the committee, so you have 2 members plus yourself now.
Awesome.
Okay, go on. All right, the Community Senior Services Center Needs Assessment Committee. As Lisa said, she just got a bunch of documentation from the company that's going to be doing this work, which I'm sure Lisa's going to be calling me to come and review it. So one thing that I did do is I've contacted Janice Connor. She's the senior advocate for the Watertown Housing Authority. And she right now is working on a survey, and she'll forward it to Lisa and myself. We'll look at it, and she can ask the 120 residents here in Watertown and some of the other authorities that she works with ideas about what they would want to see incorporated in a senior/community center. Hopefully, based on tonight's town council meeting, we have another member to replace Sabra. And when we do, I'm looking for your opinion. Do you want to, I don't want to have like a subcommittee meeting. I'd like to try to get it done on a Thursday where we could possibly do a virtual meeting from 5 to 6 on the needs assessment right before we do the subcommittee, and then have our regular meeting at 7 o'clock. And this way here, it gives everybody a chance to get ideas about, you know, what they want. I gave you a couple of my ideas about facing south in the sun for then a carport so that the community center buses, our senior center buses could drive underneath and people get out without inclement weather. Obviously, we'd like to have the gymnasium at least the size of the one that we had here in the municipal building before it was converted into the Board of Education offices. So that's where we're gonna sit with the community, senior citizen. And I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of good information from what was given to Lisa. And as Lisa said, she just got it today. So we're gonna have to review that, and we'll look for going forward. By the next meeting, we'll have a firm plan of when we're gonna meet and discuss anything that we feel pertinent to the Community Senior Services Assessment Committee. The Jack Staver Endowment, again, like I said, we moved some people around. And Kenny now is on facilities. Peg and Jack Donahue are on the endowment committee along with me. I will chair that. And I will contact the two of you so we can have a subcommittee meeting and look over. And again, the biggest thing we want to do is we want to set the foundation of the base for years, past decades, maybe even centuries from now, when this perpetual fund is still sending money, hopefully the investments that they do, be sending money to the town for capital improvement projects within the park and rec. So that's going to be our main focus on that, is setting up the foundation to make sure that happens year from year. And then we'll set up a way of how projects get on the list, how projects can be voted and brought to the full commission for a final approval. And then we'll, whatever else we have to do, if we have to incorporate other town commissions, or we have to other departments to help us achieve those means. Okay, go on to old business. We have no old business tonight. We're into new business. A, the consideration and approval for Pressbrook Park Tournament golf rates and policies. Ken?
All right, I'm gonna make a motion, but under this motion, we did not do any policy discussions or policy changes, just so we're all aware of that. But I'm gonna make a motion that for the 2021 season up at Pressbrook Golf Course, Golf Course, that we raise our tournament rates. We have three, and included into three categories. Regular Monday through Thursday rates are green fees are gonna go from $32 to $34. Cart rental will go from $15 to $16. The pro shop spending, which is most people will use for awards, will stay at $5. That will give us a total of $55 per person. That's a $3 increase from the previous year. Under a new category, which will be a weekend tournament, which will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holidays, we propose an increase of cost of $37 for greens fees, $16 for cart rentals, and also the $5 for the pro shop, which gives a $58 cost per person for the tournament. And then we also have the nonprofit category, which the new fees, proposed fees would be, for green fees would be $14, an increase of $4 from $10 of the year before. Cart rental would be $16 per person as opposed to $15 last year. And the pro shop will remain at $5 per person. Gives us a total of $35 per person for a nonprofit organization. That's a $5 increase from the 2020 rate. And just a side note, it's a $20 savings per person off the regular tournament rate. So they don't think they're getting a deal, they really are. Currently, the organizations I have listed as nonprofit that could take advantage of this is the Watertown Lions Club, the Watertown Knights, the Watertown Police Department, the Watertown Boy Scouts, Watertown Little League, Watertown ACs, Watertown Waves, and Watertown Lacrosse. We originally had Rotary on here, but they have not come to us in the last few years. They moved their tournament to a different course. So should they want to come back, they would have to come before us and ask for the nonprofit rate, which time we will discuss it. So that's my motion.
Okay. And I have
Discussion.
I have-
Put a second.
Okay.
Can I ask for discussion?
Yeah, I will in a minute, Jack, hold on.
Right, I have one question, because it doesn't list all the sports groups, because I noticed that Groves wasn't listed. And the other thing is, what they're not considering, which I just thought of when I'm thinking of Chris Martin, is if they have like a tournament to benefit like this department or something, say with the dog park or something, they have like a golf
We
club.
can make that here.
So can you make that maybe,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll-
just so it's, I mean, if it's coming to us, if they're, to benefit this department.
All right, before I open up discussion, I want to add one more thing to the nonprofit. It's for any organization that is willing, that is holding a tournament that is going to benefit, like the Park and Rec, social services, somewhere along those lines, will also fall under nonprofit. Okay, so moving forward, then I will open up, we have a second from Peg, I will open up to any discussions. Yeah.
Question under the weekend tournaments. How many
Yeah.
how many weekend tournaments did we do last year?
I know the Boy Scouts had one last year, Little League did have one last year.
Okay, so we're gonna shut the course down from 1 PM to whenever they finish on possibly Friday, Saturday, or Sunday during the summer and spring. Let's just talk, right?
Correct.
So, can we limit the amount of weekend tournaments to say one a month, so that the residents and out of town people would have access to our club on weekends, because they might be working during the week. I would not want to see the course suffocate itself with weekend tournaments.
Right, most tournaments do come before the commission. And anything over, what is it, 100? 100 must come before the commission. The Little League and the Boy Scout tournaments were fairly small tournaments. If I recall, they were only 40 or 50 people, so they didn't really tie up the course completely. Our biggest and the only Friday tournament we've had has been the police department.
That's in October.
And that's not until, well, it was in October this year, right? Or was it always October?
It's October, but they didn't have it this year.
It's always in October. So we're just a lot of these, like the new weekend tournament category, is to hopefully keep people from wanting to hold one on a tournament. If they have to pay a little bit more, we're hoping they reconsider to go to a Monday to a Thursday tournament. But we really don't have as much of a problem with weekend tournaments. And if we should, then we will definitely address it as moving forward.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carried. Okay, move on to B. Consideration to recommend bonding or steep grant for the Pressbrook Park Golf Course, and it should be golf course improvements. Okay, little background on this. Jack Donahue had contacted our representative, Joe Paletta, and looking at what the state and funds that we could possibly get to do some of the improvements that we heard about from Kenny, at recommendation of Ray Marks, our superintendent, and Jan Wyverstedt, our golf pro. Okay. The biggest thing on the list was sand trap or bunker replacement and upgrade. The information that Jack was able to obtain from the golf pro, each bunker between $10,000 and $16,000, an average range depending on what work needs to be done. There's 31 bunkers at Pressbrook Golf Course. It's a sizable amount, but on the backside of that, Ray March was able to point out that when this course was built, as with many others many years ago, the cost of just normal maintenance and repair of bunkers wasn't a high priority item. So they put a lot of extra bunkers on golf courses that now, years later, decades later, need to be maintained and taken care of, which needs a lot of labor hours and specialized sands and other materials. At Pressbrook, over the years, there's been one or two bunkers that have been eliminated and filled in with grass that don't need to be maintained. You can mow them or you can not mow them and let the grass grow high, and it's still a hazard. But it's something with grass growing in it that it wouldn't be washing out like the sand traps. So it's an option of maybe reducing some of the bunkers. We're not gonna reduce them all. Okay, so at an average price of $10,000, you're talking about $310,000 on the low end. You're talking about $512,000 on the high end. That's just bunker replacement. So what Jack did was, in talking to Representative Paletta about bonding, if we could try to get a bonding for the project, and here we go. And he forwarded a 2021 House bond request form. Now, with the House bond request form, we have to fill it out, what we would put in. One of the things, total cost of the project, we can only estimate right now. If somebody would have to come in and look at the bunkers and decide which would need the higher end work, which would need the lower end work, or if we eliminate the bunker altogether and just fill them in with grass. That would fall, on Ray's professional opinion on what we would need. Okay. They also asked for other funding. Well, we know right now that we're having problems with our budget cycle, trying to get the help we need at the golf course. So I would say that we wouldn't be putting anything towards the funding amount of it. And then the list goes down, and when we would expect to start it, when we wouldn't. And Joe Paletta, Lisa had a question, which she contacted Representative Paletta today. And he explained it as bonding would be bonding from the state, so it would be forgivable. Example, when we bond roads in town, the taxpayers pay for it, but indirectly through long-term bond. The state would be bonding this dollars, and it would hopefully come to Watertown. Okay. Thing now is, he also made a caveat, and he says, Lamont is on a debt diet, so no guarantees. So we can take the time and try to submit this on bonding. Okay, it has to go through the town council. That's something we can do directly out of Park and Rec. Would have to go through the town council. And like I said, Representative Paletta said he would try, but he emphasized no guarantees. So I don't know if we want to take the time. It's not us, it's going to be Lisa. Lisa's the person that has to do all this, and try to forward it up through the finance department to the town council. And then if the town council is going to present it to Representative Paletta. He is on this committee, so that's one thing we do have in our favor. The second one is what they call a STEEP grant. Now, over the years, Lisa has secured 2 STEEP grants. It's STEEP. And again,
More than that, Bill.
again,
More than 2.
Numerous.
okay. The first one large one was for park and recreation, when we were going to try to put the building that was donated to the town to Maurice Fabiani up at Veterans Park. And when that fell through, at the time, Representative Sean Williams and State Senator Rob Kane were able to get the wording redirected, and that STEEP grant money went to put in the turf field at Swift Middle School. The second STEEP grant that Lisa was able to obtain was for all the renovations that were done up at Veterans Park. When we took the drive-through and were able to split it and separate it out for the walkway, to separate the walking lane and the driveway, and the other work that was done up at Pressbrook Park. The STEEP grant can be applied for directly. Doesn't have to go through the finance department, doesn't have to go through the town council. And
It's still wood.
it's still work, it's a lot of work on Lisa's part, yes. But it's a lot better shot that we get that. One downside to it, the steep grant is controlled by the governor of the state. And the last couple steep grants that were put in, we had Sean Williams and we had Rob Kane, and they were hell-bent on going after Governor Malloy and his policies and his procedures in the government. So it is democratically controlled. And right now, Representative Paletta and State Senator Berthel are along the same lines. They're critical of the governor and his policies, fiscal policies. So we can fill it out, but we're under the same onus that we had before, that it is in the final outcome decided upon the governor. And historically, it's going to go to the hot spots that the governor is getting his votes from. So that's the down and dirty of it all. So I would recommend we put up for discussion, but my personal thing is try to go for the steep grant. It seems the easier and the chance that we have of getting the money that we need for upgrades at Pressbrook Park. Some of the money will go for sand traps. There are other things up there that are park related that we need to look at. There's some work that we need to be needing on the swimming pool. And it would be Pressbrook Park, not just the golf course. We're trying to entail the two. So I'm going to open the floor for discussion now.
Mr. Chairperson, it's Peg. Could I ask, is there a cap on either of these? Is there a cap on the steep grant?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
I was gonna say, it's been a couple of years since I've written one.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since Lisa wrote. The last two steep grants we got were about $500,000 each.
Okay.
The two that we got.
Then the senior.
If there's a cap tag, I'm not aware of it. There could
So
be.
it's sizable.
100,000, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Bill, it's
Yeah,
Jack
yeah.
again. So first of all, to the members of the board, the House bonding request form is only 16 questions. Yes, we do have to fill out the estimated cost and what we're trying to get. But in my letter to you and to Lisa, I spelled out that, while bunkers were important, you mentioned to me that you had been working on repairs of the T's. And I said, great, let's do both. We'll go for the T's, we'll go for partial bunkers, we'll go for machinery. So I'm saying we're not tied into one or the other. Let's spread it out a little bit. What I heard today at the subcommittee was that we do have a lot of projects out there that need to be worked on, but we don't have any money. So let's take an estimate, throw it up to the state. You know, I know about Republican governors and Democratic governors and so forth, but if we don't fill out the form, then we can't do our legwork and get lobbying for the money. So I'll be more than happy to fill this form out. If anybody else on the committee would like to help me, that'd be great. Lisa certainly can steer she's done this before. I could work with her, but I think we have to ask for money from the state to help us fix this. It's not coming from the town council. It's a shot in the dark, but let's do it and say, at least we're on record as the park committee that we've reached out trying to help and fix Pressbrook Park golf course. And now if we need to do some other work in the park itself, we follow up on that. But I don't think we need to ask for more than a couple of $100,000. See where that takes us. We can spell out 4 bunkers, 5 bunkers. We can spell out 5 or 6 tee boxes, fix some of the other things that were brought up at the subcommittee tonight. We need machinery. That's what, 50,000. And I'd I think we should do it. That's my motion too.
Okay, anybody else? Pat, you're muted.
I want to just be clear what Jack is asking for. Is he asking for us to do the steep or both or one or the other? Which?
Both.
I say do both. We have
Okay,
to-
I wasn't
we have a
clear.
ti-
I wasn't
yeah.
clear from your explanation. Okay.
Well, here's the thing, Pat, this grant from the Revenue Bonding Committee and Finance has to be in like in 2 weeks now. They go into session, they'll divvy up the money on schools and all other town communities that want work like we want.
Yeah.
And they reach out to it. So whether or not we get it, who knows? But if we don't have it filled out, we'll definitely not get it.
So my feeling is if Jack is willing to help with that, because I don't want to put that huge burden on Lisa, I'm okay with filling out both also.
The first
I
thing
agree.
that has to happen, it has to go upstairs. I mean, the bonding is a really quick form to fill out. It's, you know, I just need to have some numbers. But I'm just letting you all know, I work for the town manager. And this, whatever we're gonna be applying for, I don't know if there's anybody else applying for steep grant. I don't know if this new community/senior center/ police department is gonna be, they're gonna try to get steep money. I'm not sure, I don't know. I haven't been privy to that yet. I don't even know if they know yet, because it's still in the very just discussion stages. The worst thing you can be told is no.
Right.
Okay, and I have an attitude because if you throw enough stuff against the wall, something is gonna stick. So I mean, this bonding thing is very, very quick and down and dirty. A steep grant is totally a different animal, okay? Very much a different animal, so.
So Lisa, are you okay then with us applying for both?
I'm going to request that we can apply for both.
Good.
And that's what we can, you know, but like I said, this is due in 2 weeks. This is easy, this is relatively easy.
Okay.
The steep grant is much more involved. You have all kinds of stuff that has to be included and, you know, prevailing wages, if it's put out to bid, can you do it in-house? I mean, there's a ton of stuff because you're getting state, federal money, there's a ton of stuff that goes along with it. So steep
Okay.
grant is not just something that you can do in a couple hours, okay? Just so you know.
Got
This other thing that Jack got from Joey looks like something we could put together relatively
Okay.
quick, you know, so.
Can I add something real quick? Going off of the form I submitted earlier, with all the projects going forward, 90% of this is labor, in-house labor. I just wanted to make that clear. This isn't subcontracting all this out. The only thing that we're gonna subcontract out would be the parts, possibly for the pump house for that one pump, because I'm being consumed right now, rebuilding a lot of the reels, the equipment, doing other things for the course. So that may go out, be outsourced, but everything else, most of the trees we do in-house, all the tees, this is just very labor intensive within the staff that we can perform ourselves.
So, but Ray, maybe we can help you if we get the money, all right? We could look at what are the things that are so labor intensive and that need to be done, and maybe we can contract some of that out, and then you could put the labor that you guys do towards something else. But all I'm saying is it's something we could look into after.
Yes, excellent.
Once we get approvals, if we get approvals.
Well, one of the things I know that when you get these grants and bonding, whatever, when you leave the project open-ended, add little odds and ends, like you said, we need something for this, we need something for that, that's the easy end of it. My big question to all the commissioners tonight is, we need to have a figure. We need to have a figure for Lisa to start with. We say, okay, we want $750,000. Oh, no, we want $500,000. Jack had mentioned $200,000. Okay, I think that once you get the money, then you can tailor make it and grab your priorities.
Right.
Okay, if we go with $200,000, that's not enough to do every bunker or sand trap.
Right.
But then on the other side of it, previous meeting, Ray had said there's 5 or 6 bunkers that need serious work. Well, 5 or 6 bunkers as opposed to 31, that helps us bring the cost down. And in my mind, my thinking is you have a lot better shot at trying to, we'll use the bonding request form for, we'll say $300,000 than we do for $500,000 or $750,000.
Mhm.
And I think when they start looking at some of the smaller ones, you got a lot better shot of getting a smaller piece of the pie than trying to get a bigger piece, but at least you got some part of that pie. So throw that out on the table, what you would think of for a figure.
I have a question for Lisa. Do you have, historically, if you put in for a certain amount, are you, and you're told no, do they say, no, we won't give you the whole thing, but we'll give you part? Or is it just all or nothing, what you've asked for?
It depends on what resources you're applying for. I mean, I've had good luck getting senior buses. I've gotten the last 6 senior buses. Those are
No,
more statistics, but I mean, as far as this goes, I again, I have to get permission, especially, I think this one, the bonding would have a better shot of getting approval quick. The steep grant, I don't want it, I know that the highway department puts in for it every year, because that's probably the only way he's getting road money right now, so.
Yeah.
As far as,
so if we ask for.
State Senator Pilar said he would work very hard to get this, so.
No, here's the question. If we ask for 400 and they say, oh geez, that's too much, do they just say no? The state says no, or
Or do they give you
we
2?
won't give you 400, we'll give you 200?
Right.
I'm not gonna say no, man. I don't think anybody
I
would.
mean, that's number 1 in sales, start high, you can always come
Right.
down, I mean, that's
No,
number
no,
1, but.
I'm not, I don't think I'm
I
getting
could try
clear.
to, to reach out, or if Jack wanted to reach out to Joey tomorrow and just find out, like what Bill Dunstan was saying, do you have a better shot if you're asking for, obviously, the smaller, like $200,000, or whatever, I mean.
250,000.
You know.
My idea is 250,000.
I know with some of the stuff, they really, and this is going back a few years now, but like with the parks and stuff, they had a cap. It was pretty much like $500,000, and that's what you were gonna get. That would be the max that they would give out. And sometimes it was almost on a rotation basis. And actually, that other grant you were saying about the renovations to veterans was actually to purchase another park. At one point, we were looking at where the winery was. If everybody goes back in their memory, at one point, we were looking at buying the Rick Vicious farm where Doc McHugh's winery and Vince Gianetti's winery is now. So it's just sometimes they'll pretty much tell you, the match that you're going to get is say like $500,000, and that was for big projects. And at that point, that was the big thing, is the state wanted to have the towns acquiring a lot more open space and space for recreational use. So it depends on what's going on at the state level, what their interest is at that point. Right now, it might be magnet schools. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what happens to be the focus. So. I think for right now, I don't even know when the steep grant process is. I haven't done one in a couple of years now, but this other one, I think, without getting crazy, because I mean, there's only so many hours. I think right now for the bonding one is get that finished, and then I can investigate about the other one, about the steep grant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree with Lisa. The bonding one is easy, and as Jack pointed out, you got like a 2-week window here, and knowing that first, we have to give Lisa one thing tonight that Lisa needs to get her in started, then she can get it upstairs to the town manager and finances. We gotta give her a starting figure.
Okay,
Once we get a starting figure, then Lisa can, what part of the form she can fill out, then get it upstairs and possibly get it to Representative Paletta as quickly as possible. But that's one thing we can do tonight. Come up with a figure. My personal figure now, to throw out there was $250,000, $250,000.
I don't have a problem with the $250,000.
Seems reasonable.
Anybody higher, lower, let's discuss it. That's what we're here for.
I say 280.
We'll go for 3.
No, the reason I said 280, it's not 300. It's a little bit less, but it's also above 250,
Can
try
I
to get,
say something?
go ahead.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So we have 31 bunkers and we know that the cost is 10 to 16,000, and we're willing to take, really any free money that the government wants to give us. But I don't see why we want to limit it to that. I mean, I have a feeling from the conversations that I've had that even though we may very likely not get the full amount that we're asking for, it still doesn't hurt us to shoot for the number that's going to complete the project, to get the project done that we need. So, I mean, it's fine.
I
if that's
didn't
what you
hear
want to
that.
do.
I didn't, that's what I was asking. I didn't hear
Yes.
that if you ask for 500,000, they may give you 300,000.
I mean, I just feel like if we were to ask for $500,000 and we made it all encompassing, improving the town park of Pressbrook Park, involving any aspects to the park. The swimming pool has issues. It has cracks. It has issues every year. The tennis courts have had issues. The parking lots have had issues. We have issues with the paving. We have issues with the golf course bunkers, the leveling of the tees. We have issues with our aging equipment. We have issues financing our labor force.
Okay.
We have, I think if it was put together in a descriptive way, it would look, I think that we could justify the amount that we're asking for is what I'm saying. I just feel like.
There's no way that I'm gonna be able to pull that off in 2 weeks, okay? I'm gonna be very realistic, because you have to have tangible numbers. When you're saying repair the pool, well, it's in the middle of winter and we got, 3 feet of snow on it. You have to have legit numbers when you're presenting something like this. You can't, they just don't throw money away. They want numbers that are, okay, here's my, based on fact, here's the number that I got from Scott Pools, and I got from Dolphin Pools, and I got from someplace else saying that the swimming pool needs $75,000 worth of renovations. Do you follow me? You really have to make sure that if you're going in big ticket things like that, you really have to make sure that you're basing it on actual information, okay?
But how are you going to justify the other ones, even if we don't go that big? Do you have other numbers?
I don't have anything. It's not my end of my expertise. But no, I'm serious. But
Yeah, no, I know.
we have information that Jan has gotten. We have our park superintendent sitting here that could probably come up with some stuff.
Okay.
And it would be based more like that, but I mean, realistically, to have something pulled off in 2 weeks, I mean.
Okay.
And we don't have 2 weeks, right, Jack?
Right.
Yeah, we don't have 2 weeks, but that's a good point that Jan brings out. As much as I want the golf course to be better, we also want the park to be better. Maybe when we throw the whole park in there and we work on it. So, okay. So if we can't do it in 2 weeks, then we do it next year. But I think we need to put a project together to go out and find money, whether it happens in 2 weeks, which probably not, then next year we go to it. But I like that idea. That's something that our board should be doing and reaching out and identifying how we can make that a better park or a better golf course. I'm jumping around here, guys and girls, but it's just, we need to try to find some money.
Right. So just to get back to Bill's point, then what's the number then you want to use? Having heard all these discussions.
Table it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I always thought I said 200,000, thinking that at least we got 200,000. We could get a piece of equipment. We could do couple of sand traps, 5 or 6 tee boxes and things like that. But in the grander things, it's going to be what, $1 million to fix up the park?
Yeah,
But we're
Okay.
never gonna get $1 million in one full swoop. So
no,
why not do it incrementally,
Right.
a little bit every
This would
year?
be, right, Peg, this is incrementally thing. I mean, Pat's idea, 280, it sounds pretty good. It's not 300,000, but it's over 250. 275 is right dead smack in the middle, but we're at least making an attempt. And if we get the money, now we've got a little bit of money to start chipping away at these projects. We're not
Right.
gonna be able to do it at $1 million, $1.2 million. By the way, in last week's Water Republican American, if anybody noticed it, the city of Waterbury just appropriated $1.2 million to the 2 golf courses. Okay? I wish we had that luxury, but we don't. Okay? But if we try to put it off for another year, the bonding right now, trying to get the bonding, it will say 275,000 right in the middle between 250, 300, 280. Pat said 280 gives us a little bit of a start. We can start chipping away at the major items that need to be looked at. And like Lisa said, the steep grant is way more involved. Takes a lot longer time. Maybe the steep grant, all the information that has to be gotten takes through the summer and submitted in the fall, and that could be for next year. But this way here, we have to honor what Jack said. Representative Paletta wants to do something in this cycle.
okay,
And we are really handcuffed with 2 weeks.
okay,
It's not something we can table for tonight. If we table it tonight, then we're pushing it out till next year.
yeah,
Right.
The bonding at least. And Representative Paletta has been very, very, very honest with Jack, saying that, come on, guys, I'll do whatever I can, I'll do the best I can, but you gotta get it to me.
Right.
Like I said, Lisa said, the 16 questions is the easiest for her to work through finance and the town manager and get it to Representative Paletta as quickly as possible. It's the easiest part for her right now.
So, so I just asked, and I said, I'm in a meeting, and I said, for the bonding, do they look for a certain number? Would it have a better chance coming in below like 300,000 suggestions, any type of benchmark? I'm asking for some kind of benchmark that he can give us. And he's not 100% sure about the bond, but having a greater, lower chance of getting approved. You would tend to think that the lower it is, the more likely it would be to get approved.
okay,
Okay,
Which is
so,
what I figured.
Yep.
And we have to realize one other thing on Lisa's time right now. Lisa is right now actively working to get a senior center director.
well, we're actively searching.
So Lisa's kind of busy right now, guys, so we gotta be judicious with her time.
No, that's what you pay me to, but it's,
Okay,
don't forget, you have a senior center that we're gonna be putting together too, so.
No, other than, if we have to do something tonight, let's do it, let's not wait till.
yep,
But like I said, we're done. If we don't make a decision tonight, and if we don't get it, if we make a decision tonight, and we submit it and we don't get it, we got 9 more months to start all over. And
At
go
least we
for it in
tried.
2020,
Yep.
go for it in
Right.
2022. That can't hurt. They can't stop you from applying, apply every year.
Right.
So I think we need to put something in tonight and let the chips fall where they may, and we'll move forward from there. We'll be making
Agreed.
some progress for the town. We'll be showing them, the town that, yes, we're working to make our golf course better, but we're also working to make our Pressbrook Park a better place for our community, not just our golf course. And let's show the town that, we aren't just about a golf course, we're about a park, we're about our community.
Agreed.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
now, to move
Okay.
everything along right now a little bit, I'm gonna make a motion that for the 2021 House Bond Request Form, that we request $275,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, okay, now that we have a second on the floor, any further discussion? We have a figure to start with. 275 is the starting figure. We want to keep it at that. And like Kenny said, you know, if not, we have 9 months now to prepare for a next round, or during that time, the involved one, the steep grant, can be looked at.
So after hearing Lisa's comments, what she read off, I forgot, who was it from again that you were talking to?
Our state representative.
That was from Representative Coletta.
Okay. Should we go below 250 then?
We were talking $500,000 to start.
No, I think we want to be able to do stuff too. We don't want to.
All right,
pick and
okay.
choose it.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like your 280, Pat. That was a good idea. I just nicked it a little bit. 275,
All right.
and that gives us the starting point that we need to get the ball rolling.
Right.
Okay, any other further conversation? Any questions? Okay, if there's no other further discussion, all those in favor of the 2021 House Bond Request Form being sent in at $275,000, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we got Lisa a figure to work with, and she can get it upstairs with finance, and she can get it up to the town manager and get it along its way. And steep
Lisa,
grant.
Did you need Jack to help you with
Table the
anything?
steep grant now for another day.
I don't need anything, yeah, I'm gonna probably be reaching out mostly to get the numbers and
Okay.
I was gonna say, a lot of it's, like, I don't have it in front of me, but I'll review it. If I need if I have anything with Jack or anything,
Okay.
I'll reach out, okay?
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Lisa, reach out and we'll talk tomorrow and just put a little couple of days together or something like that, or what we need to do. So we're good. Thank you.
Before I close out that subject, I just want to say thank you to Jack Donahue for the legwork he did with State Representative Paletta, getting forms and helping to push this along. A lot of the legwork was all on Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Thanks,
You-
Jack.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
I have a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? And thank you to Mike Simmons over here off camera.
No,
All right,
it's
guys.
Frank.
That's Frank.
Frank.
Frank, you don't see
Mike
Frank.
Simmons up
The
there.
IT guy who's been here all night.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you,
Good night.
everybody.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Bye.
Okay, let's see.